Hi, I'm Heimbach. I get a lot of questions about my live rig, which you see right behind me. What's the yellow thing, what's the red thing, and how does it all fit together? So I made this video to clear a few things up. The main thing that interested me when I put this together was to have one instrument. Before I used to have like a bunch of different instruments and always plugged them together on the table at the venue. And that took both a long time, and I always shifted the setup every time there was something new. And every time you have something new, you have to learn that new. And with shifting setups, you don't give yourself the time to really rehearse with an instrument. So I tried to make this whole thing into an instrument which keeps me all the time in a creative flow. And I think it turned out pretty well. So let's have a closer look. The case itself is carry-on sized. It was only about 60 bucks on Amazon, and it's quite heavy, but it's really sturdy. It feels good to travel with this. To fix everything into the case, I had to get a bit creative. Velcro worked fine for some stuff, the lighter stuff. Other stuff I had to screw in, like the D1000. I also built a wooden pedal board for the lower part that fits right into the lid, so I could run all the power supplies and all the power cabling and connections that I don't ever touch underneath, so they don't get in the way of the patch cables. The heart of my setup is the Cocoquantus MK2 by Ciat-Lonbarde. It's built around two digital delays and loopers, and it has an analog modulation matrix to modulate the delays or to create sounds on their own. It interfaces with the outside world by two preamps, one for XLR mics with envelope followers and one for piezo, also with an envelope followers. Then there are also two stereo mini jack ins and a stereo mini jack out. The whole thing is like a workstation for abstract electronic music. It sounds warm, noisy, grainy, and I just love it. Also from Ciat-Lonbarde is the Sidrax. It's a touch-based 7-voice analog synthesizer. It has lots of patching possibilities, both with the Cocoquantus and in itself. And it has the possibility to go full chaos anytime. Beauty and chaos in a single machine. I've paired it with a main key voltage memory so I can store complete compositions and recall them easily. Also, there are many different scales on that. You can sequence those with the internal sequencer that's either clocked with itself or clocked to the whole system. Lastly, in the lower half is the Neunaber Slate, a digital multi-effect which can be switched using this expansion box. I mostly use it for its reverb, as it fits really well with the acoustic character of the Sidrax. But sometimes I use the shimmer and chorus effects because they too sound very, very good. Everything runs through it. In the top half of the setup, you find the Metasonix D1000 vacuum tube drum machine. This is one of the more out there drum machines. I think only 200 of these were built. It's 3 bandpass filters that are pinged by a click that's derived from the clock and sequenced via these switches. The fourth voice is called Symbol, which is rather optimistic as it's just a piece of white noise. The whole thing can run from external clock via the Bastl Klik, or it can run on itself. As you can see, you can also do feedback and drones and melodic sounds. The good thing about it, this machine sounds wonderful warm, and it works on big PAs as well as on small PAs. The bad thing is, it does produce a lot of noise and it has a heavy hum, which you have to trickily patch to avoid. But one of the best things about it is it has CV in for all the voices and external trigger ins. So once I interpatch them with the Cocoquantus, for which this box is useful, which is a format changer, you can get new melodic lines and entire soundscapes. The whole thing runs through the Minifooger Delay, which is a kind of lovely delay, but it's really dark. I tried it with many things, but it works best with the D1000. Everything runs through the Bugbrand stereo compressor. This is a nice compressor that's tuned to electronic music. It's very playable with all the chicken head knobs. It has a blend mode, so you can mix the compressed signal with the uncompressed signal, and EQs on the sidechain, so you can let the bass through, or you can only compress certain high frequencies for overload protection, because this is both great for adding more tone to a signal and for protecting your audience from patching errors and feedbacks. I really love this unit. Last, this is the Bastl Klik. It takes a click signal from the OP1 and converts it into a trigger for the D1000 and the whole setup, so I can clock everything via the OP1. Outside the case, I have varying instruments, but almost always the OP1. I use the OP1 to play and to sequence my own samples. I only use samples, not the internal synth engines, mainly because I don't dig the sound that much. But with sampling, it's a lovely machine. Kinda reminds me of the Casio SK1 I had as a kid. It runs through this thing, which is an Ibanez Rock and Play, a Walkman that offers chorus and distortion on its ins. So that sounds like this with the chorus. A really widescreen kind of sound, and when you add the distortion, that's some heavy stuff. It also has pitch adjustment half speed and pitch continuous, so I can play tape loops at half speeds. Half speed is best speed. Since the Cocoquantus has a piezo in, I often play Embiras through that. But really I plug in anything into the piezo input. Sometimes a guitar, a bass, toy pianos. It's lovely to just try anything with that. So that's it for my live rig. Somebody called it my take on a Zinti, which is kinda true. Because by putting all these different instruments in one case, they became one instrument. Something I can rehearse, something I can play with live, something that interacts with the whole of the studio, and something that makes me really, really happy. Even when I carry it around and it's heavy. To see how it all sounds together, I made a video. Check it out. That's it for my live rig. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I have a new album out, it's called On Endless Beach, and it's available now on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere where you get your digital downloads. I have a few of these tapes, which were released on Go On Tapes, available on my website as soon as I figure out how the store works. Bye and thanks.